Welcome to another episode of my Motor Town playthrough. This time around we are going to tackle the copper mines, which means bringing supplies up to them. There are two distinct types of copper mines in the game right now. It's all a bit more complicated than with coal and iron ore. So let me explain it to you guys real quick on the map right here. All the mines are in the Guangjin area, but there are two different types. First up, copper ore all needs to be delivered over to the copper concentrator right here. And three of the mines are already very close to that location. They all produce the copper very slowly unless you deliver some supplies to them. Namely fuel and wood planks. Then you get a really good output from them, and that means being able to fill up the concentrator much quicker. The fourth mine works more like the regular ones in the upper area over here. So while you can also deliver some supplies, it will also give you copper ore at a steady rate without them. The trade-off is that it has a more regular distance between it and its destination. So that trip is gonna be a lengthy one, it's gonna be pretty tough, and we're not going to tackle it today. I think they are reworking the ore you get from this. This might be a better version that gives you more concentrate in the end. But as it is right now, yeah, this isn't really all that worth it. So we are going to bring the supplies over to these mines, and then we should be getting a lot of stuff from that. So when it comes to supplying, there are two ways to this location. For the fuel, it's definitely a better choice to just go to the Guangjin fuel storage with a lot of fuel. Just get a road train going and deliver like 100 units or something. Don't know what the current limit is, but yeah, it's kind of up there. And then you will be able to just get the fuel from here on a smaller truck and deliver it over the over this road, and then the more treacherous bit over here. And the last bit is gonna be very easy because this is a wide and even path for the most part. But yeah, that's the ideal for the fuel. Could theoretically also get a small truck from the refinery and bring it over this way and go up the mud road. But yeah, speaking of a mud road, that's really a worthwhile consideration for planks, because we got the lumber mill right here. Can of course also drop off some planks at the storage right here and then go the same trip. But planks from the lumber mill seem the way forward, so this is really something worth considering and likely what I'll be doing today. So yeah, let's take a look at the different options that we have in terms of vehicles. We got the fuel trucks over here, we got the plank hauling trucks over here. So yeah, quite a few options. Some better than others, but let's go through them one by one. If you want to make it easy on yourself, I don't know if this truck can make it through the shortcut, but it can definitely very easily make it up the regular route from the storage. We of course got the Cuda. Both versions work, both the box truck and the flatbed. Could theoretically also try the Atlas 6x2, but I don't know. In this case, I think having a 4x2 is better than a 6x2. But this thing makes short work of it. We might try it up the shortcut today, see if that works. I haven't ever done that, so might be in for some surprises. But yeah, if you wanna try something that can definitely make it through the shortcut, then we got this one right here, the new Jemusi flatbed. To be clear, it's a rather small truck comparatively, and while it is a 6x6 truck, it kinda struggles with all the planks. Both of these can hold up to 3. I think maybe with a new town policy you could maybe put 4 on the flatbed version. I know definitely that the Cuda flatbed can hold 4 planks, but it also gets increasingly more top heavy at that point. But yeah, even with 3 planks, the Little Jemusi is kind of struggling, even if you stiffen up the back and everything. It's just a bit small, bit short, and the suspension is just not set up for it. Even if I tried my best, but yeah, we're likely going to try it as well today. See how well it goes. But yeah, you can definitely make it through the shortcut, and if you get stuck somewhere, the front winch is a tremendous help. The Matey at this point is more of an honorable mention. It used to be the main plank hauling truck back in the day, back when we still got decent payout. The planks really give a pity in terms of money, so don't expect any good reward from this outside of the supply chain stuff. But yeah, the Matey used to be everybody's favorite because it made a lot of people a lot of money, but I personally never liked it. I got a recommendation for the suspension setup, and it felt horrible to drive. I don't want to knock it too much though. If you like this truck, more power to you, but it wouldn't earn a recommendation from me at this point. And yeah, last but not least, we have the Jemusi Semi, and whatever semi-trailer you feel like using at that point. I wouldn't go with a full-length trailer. This one already, this being the short flatbed, so showbed or something. This can hold up to 6 planks, and that's gonna be a lot. That's gonna be a tough challenge, but it works out. Could also use for Olbe instead, has the same capacity, but I like this one being a bit wider and therefore a bit more stable. The Olbe definitely works. I was hoping for this one to maybe have a bit more ground clearance under the landing gear, but they don't really seem to be much of a difference there. Maybe this is a bit stiffer and might therefore not sag down that much. Might have to do a direct comparison, but I repeatedly ran into issues where the landing gear would be on the ground, and that's really not great. But yeah, Jemusi Semi, if you wanna haul a lot of stuff, but it's gonna be a good challenge. I think maybe you would be faster using the flatbed or the Cuda and just doing 2 trips, especially if you have set up some campies to teleport back on the way down. But yeah, these are basically all the options here in terms of planks. Let's quickly talk about the fuel side. And yeah, we basically have a mirror here. We got the Atlas tanker, which is a bit horrible, honestly. There is at least one spot where I constantly get stuck with it, despite it being set up for off-roading, high ground clearance and everything. But you can make it. It's just gonna be really tough, especially this point. This is an issue. There is a line through it, but even I cannot get it right all the time. So going for a smaller capacity truck with a bit more off-road capability, I don't really use these. We need free fuel for every single plank that we deliver, and therefore something with 20 capacity definitely beats out 7 or 6 over here. But these would be, once again, easy options to make this work. But yeah, you're gonna be suffering in terms of capacity. But should be a nice, easy trip, so yeah. Maybe the entry option, if you just wanna get it done and get a bit of stuff. The last one would obviously once again be a Jemusi Semi with a trailer. I think this is the Shoten 7. Let me quickly check. I think I might want to try the Shoten 10. Yeah, this one has 80 kiloliter capacity, so you would need 6 planks in order to use up all the fuel in the mine. But we could also go with a 10 version, which I think has like 28. So yeah, I might want to try that and see how well that goes. I cannot recommend using the stock ones because they have very soft suspension. It does work, you can make it through, but setting up your own trailer with higher ground clearance, stiffer springs and all of that might be the better way. But yeah, in terms of things that I wanna definitely try today, we are going to first try this truck through the mod shortcut and see how well that goes. Got 10 minutes in. But yeah, I had some explaining to do on the whole thing, so sorry about that. So we got the CUDA driven, we are up at the lumber mill, and we should have a good amount of stuff right here. I might have to go for a refill at some point. I'll be going to copper mine number 3 because that's the only one out of the 3 that's above the concentrator. Meaning that once you go over there with your dump truck to get the concentrate, you go up empty and come back down fully loaded, so that's really easy. Also should maybe reset my Dumpy real quick. I got a dump truck just going between all the mines to get all the copper that's being produced naturally. It's also gonna help emptying out the mines once they are fully supplied again. But yeah, let's see how this one goes. The mud physics have been changed recently, so this might not be all that bad, or it might be absolutely horrible. I know the Gemusi flatbed can make it through without winching if you get enough speed. Not sure about this one. But yeah, this thing, it pulls like an ox. It's really powerful. Okay, and we got stuck pretty much immediately. Can I get it to inch forward? I just need to make it over the crest right here, but yeah, that doesn't seem like it's gonna be happening. I can try again, maybe with a better run-up. But yeah, now that I know that this is close, it might be something I can make work. But I would say, just from failing the first time, doesn't feel like it's gonna be that reliable. Or at least not easy. I might be able to climb over the terrain, but we'll have to see about that. Compared to past versions, this is definitely a bit more manageable. It has been evened out a little bit, so the mud areas aren't that brutal anymore. Yeah, fat chance of making that work. So we might be able to go over the grassy area, and let's just go and try that now. I think the first hill is still the worst one. So if we make it over this or somehow get past it, we might be able to go further from there. The CUDA is still a safe bet though if you go the other direction, if you come in from the storage facility. This might end up being a multi-part video. I got all the explanation out of the way, but we would definitely have to try at least a few things here. Yeah, let's just get back here and try to get on the left here. I don't know if I need more run up. Oh no, I can make it just like that. Yeah, in terms of climbing with this load, the CUDA is definitely an absolute beast. But it's also kind of top heavy. So gotta be careful about that, but yeah. Bypassing the first mud area, no problem. Going through it, yes problem. But yeah, we are a bit further. Again, trying to get my speed up for the next one. Might be better to just stick in third gear. Upshifting takes a while. Yeah, we are kind of on the even point here, so should be able to just push through from here. So yeah, got it over the crest. What little crest there may have been, but it was important to get over it. Come on. Doesn't seem to want to go any faster though, so yeah, I mean we are still moving forward and that's important. Okay, 2 more mud areas to go and the next ones are going to be in corners, so yeah. They are a bit more flat though, so that might work out. Just gonna get it lined up and try push through. We are back at 40 kilometers per hour. Get a bit of grip on the outside. Swing it around. But yeah, there's a bit of an incline and I don't think we are ready for that. Not sure if we can climb up the inside. Not sure if we can somehow get on the outside and climb that one. But I don't think we are moving anywhere here. So let me just quickly check. This might be possible. Sounds silly, but the CUDA is amazing uphill here. This one, I mean, this is kind of steep. Can we go around here? Okay, this might be the way to go. Just stick to the outside, go around here, and then come back. Yeah, that might work. We would still have to go around here. That's a bit of a tight spot. Let's try the inside first, because that seems to be the ridiculous one, and I like that. Okay, never mind. It goes through the steep part a bit too quickly, and now I'm... yeah, not height centering, but managed to beach myself. So let's take the slightly longer but safer part around here. So for this trip, my recommendation right now would be the Limousin flatbed, or J-Flatty as I like to call it. But yeah, once you did all the scouting, once you got your route figured out, then this might also be a decent one for the CUDA. Ah, damn, got stuck again. This hole might be a bit of a problem. But yeah, I'm not giving up quite yet. I think we are still making progress. But yeah, this is definitely somewhat easy to get stuck in. Can I just push through here? Oh yeah, easy. Okay, we managed to get through or around 3 out of 4 mud areas, and the last one is coming up in a moment. I also like that this is now a slightly more narrow path. Kinda nice looking in my opinion. Okay, can we make it to the end? Come on, get grip. Yes. As I said, the Cuda is an absolute beast. Lots of power, and the planks add the necessary weight to the driven axle. So despite not really being an off-road vehicle, it can do stuff it really shouldn't be able to. But yeah, this would now also be the path that you take coming in from the 4th mine. The difference is, right now we are obviously not using a dump truck. Okay, now we are coming up to the most tricky non-mud area. Because this is a really steep and uneven area, and if you reset, you end up way too close to the cliff here and then immediately fall down. I already reported that and they put it on the Trello. So I hope that's gonna get addressed. But yeah, this part is a bit ridiculous, but no problem for the Cuda. This is where I like to die with my Limusi flatbed, that just, even with the winch, it has issues. I should have maybe run a timer or something, but overall I think you get the idea by just watching this, how difficult or not difficult some of the parts are. Careful, this is a bit of a tricky turn. Also, yeah, this is the second video that I'm making on this update. We are now in version T2, so the second public test version. There has been a hot fix earlier today, because when they initially released the T2 version, whenever you open the map, the game would shut down, just crash to desktop. So, yeah, I was about to make a different kind of video today, just focusing on the new trash truck, since that's something I can do without looking at the map. But yeah, when they thankfully fixed it, I put up a bug report, even tagged the developer on Discord, which by the way is something that we usually don't do. But yeah, I think the test drivers have it at our discretion to ping Mr. Wang. And with this basically breaking the game for everybody, I think that rose to the rare occasion where it really needed his immediate attention. And that's really my bar when it comes to tagging him. I don't do that lightly, I don't do that often, but yeah, did it today. Otherwise, I was thinking maybe make a trash collection video and end it by opening the map to close down the game. That would have been fun as well, but yeah, don't need to do that today. Okay, now we are going to do the same thing, but from the other side, just to show you guys why the Cuda is actually a recommendable vehicle here. I was considering to maybe now do the same trip with the Limousin flatbed, but yeah, I think I end this up with the Cuda. Might make it a bit longer and do the flatbed at the end. But I think this trip is important to make the case for why the Cuda is a decent vehicle here. I mean, you saw how well it can pull. It can even make it up to the coal and iron mine without any help, if you set it up correctly. It can, from a full standstill, go up that one very steep bit. It's not really a problem. But yeah, on the mud it was understandably struggling quite a bit. But yeah, this should be mostly easy. Will be a good contrast to the Atlas once we get to that one. Damn it. It's a very top-heavy vehicle though, so while the power would allow you to go very quickly, the corners are going to keep you from doing that. And yeah, with how little money you make from these trips, it's really not going to give you anything. But yeah, here we go. Overall, we are just flying through this area. But yeah, I think I already made a video on the Cuda doing deliveries to the coal mine. It's the same truck, just a different livery. I think I might have the original livery still on the workshop, but I also made sure to copy it onto other vehicles. So it's become more of a widespread thing for larger vehicles now. The whole orange look with the black palm trees and bit of island. Oh god. I put it on the trash truck as well. Looks really nice in my opinion. So another thing I can talk about a bit is the new town policy trade balance thing. You can actually find that in the pause menu, I mean right here. Basically what happens is, and you know what, I'm gonna keep driving, but keep in mind what this looks like. There is a balance going on there, and it's going to add and subtract the things that you export or import from the harbors. I don't know what it is about containers, might have to check those. They might be an imported good. I mean, yeah, they kinda are. That's the whole thing. But stuff like coal and iron ore from DASA is gonna be to a big detriment of your trade balance. And you can offset with logs, with sunflower seeds. Those are the easy things that you don't need a supply chain for. But also stuff like the transformers that you can build now, coils and H-beams and that kind of thing. The problem is when it comes to the steel coils and the H-beams, it's not balanced. If you import the goods and then export the product that the steel mill makes from that, you're gonna go very fine to the miners. They don't really add up in a way where the produced good is worth more than the resources needed to make it. So yeah, just for the trade balance, that's an awful idea. You would have to go with things that you can get without supply chain stuff. I don't know the full list of goods. I don't know if there even is one. But yeah, that's kind of the idea behind the trade balance. And if you keep your trade balance in the positive, you can then activate some town policies like 5 meters additional to the overall vehicle length to get an additional trailer here and there, or plus 1 meter cargo height to get a fourth plank on some of the flatbeds, and also a few other things like fuel subsidy. You basically get some money back when you refuel, and other things like that. There is a whole list of things that I can actually show you. If you go to the plus here, this is all the options. So yeah, 20% fuel subsidy, gross vehicle weight limit plus 10 tons, cargo height limit 1 meter, company truck condition usage, company taxi condition usage, and same for bus, and combined vehicle length plus 5 meters. And honestly, I don't really like this system all that much. I think the company bonuses are nice. I mean, the trade policy bonuses, they are really cool. But the problem for me is on servers, the entire thing is set up by admins. So wherever you are, the admin has to choose the bonuses, and you can only work towards them, but you cannot really influence to get anything else active unless you talk to the admin. And in my opinion, the system would have worked just as well, if not better, if this was just part of a companies and corporation system. So that on the corporation, the admin can set up the whole thing. It will cost a certain amount per hour. Maybe have a limit for when nobody from the corp is online or something. And have that go into the balance from your wallet and all of that. And for companies and single player, it could just be tied to the balance sheet of the company. The upside of the new system is you get incentivized to maybe try out some cargo that you otherwise don't really need to care about. It was a bit too aggressive. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's also kind of adding a bit of potential confusion and just another layer to something that's already very complicated, like the entire supply system. Plus with how poorly the whole thing is balanced in terms of the values, it just doesn't really seem to work out right now. Balance changes have been suggested. I don't know if anything will come of that. I don't remember if it ever got added to the Trello. Maybe it got, but I don't really remember. But yeah, my 2 cents are that this is doing very little overall. And with it being reliant on such a weird system, it also doesn't work completely as you would hope it does. It's just not the best. Okay, now onto a bit of a problem because my tires are maybe a bit too far out. At least the front tires, so I gotta be a bit careful here. Doesn't help that the camera tries to reset all the time. Okay, but we made it over. But yeah, the thing about the policy stuff, there's basically a limit to how far the total can go in either direction. And let's say you go 1,500 into the minus due to imports. The limit for the total is gonna be 1,000. So the 500, you're never gonna get there. This was definitely a bit too slow. Need to hit the dirt to get all of you, I think. I know, but we might just let it roll backwards. Okay, now with a bit more momentum. Yeah, that was easy enough. So yeah, if your policy goes like, or if your import puts a minus 1,500 into the negative, the limit is gonna be 1,000, so the 500 are immediately forgotten. And if you then get 10 points in the positive again, you're gonna be at 990. So that's how that works, and yeah, you can go far into the minus, and then it's still somewhat easy to get back into the plus, but it's also feels a bit weird and inconsistent. I think we are still working on the proper explanation of the whole system in-game. But yeah, I already made a suggestion about the whole thing, looking at it a bit more critical and seeing if we really should have it in-game. Had a few people agree with me that maybe it's not the best fit. The best fit for the entire thing. But seems like we are sticking with it anyways. So if you don't care about the bonuses too much, you can just ignore it. Which is likely what I'll do. I got it set for the 5 meter plus vehicle length. But in the end I don't really need it. But yeah, we made it back onto the copper concentrator road, so this is actually pretty easy now. We can also go for a shortcut here since I chose this mine. Should be able to just go over here, maybe lean onto the tree to not fall over. And then just go down like this. And we got the delivery done. And yeah, I know it's already a longer video, but you know what, to just cement why the Limousin flatbed is decent, let's do one final trip. Should be a rather easy one. Just gonna need to find it first. Le Flatty. So the thing you need to know about my setup, first of all, it's still very much work in progress. But you see how the middle axle is a bit further up. I set it up to do that because otherwise, well, let's see what it looks like once we load up the planks right here. The middle of the planks is basically somewhere between the two rear axles, and if you put too much weight on the middle axle, you end up making that thing very easy to tip. It's already leaning backwards a bit. There is a trick against it. You could untie the top stack and have that slide forward a bit to change the overall center of mass a bit. Get more weight on the front axle, and that would definitely help a bit, but yeah, I'm not gonna do it for this test. I think it might also reset if I have to tow to road again. But yeah, let's try it as it is. I stiffened up the rear quite a bit, also the front, and it's still very wobbly as you can see. Maybe I made the front a bit too soft again. Also, as per usual, I'm using 1.5 way differentials on all the axles instead of the lockable ones. It still allows me to switch between 4 high, 6 low and everything, but it's never gonna be fully locked. which is kind of a point. Fully locked divs are not that great for cornering. So let's just go into that mode. Fourth gear might be the one. This might be the one part where I actually need to use the front winch. I think I managed to make it through here without winching like once or twice, but this was really not the best approach. You know what, since it's gonna take a long time anyways, we might as well try again. I should have gone into 6L lock sooner and then maybe go into 5th gear. Okay, careful. Oh, it's still in high. Get up to speed. I need to be in at least 4th or 5th gear. Ideally 5th gear. Maybe 4th gear would have been better for a bit more speed. I hate having the mouse on the screen all the time. Doesn't really help anything. Okay, one more time in 3rd gear and then just shifting up to 4th. Oops! That's what I mean with the whole thing being a bit too back heavy. Good that I got to show you guys that as well. Definitely a bit of a driver error there, but yeah, not the first time I'm seeing that happen. Typical thing when you want to do something quickly, it's just gonna be everything but quick. I thought I maybe had the speed here for 5th gear. Nope. Last attempt, really gonna stick to 4th. I remember breezing through the entire thing with the truck, and I think it's worth showing that off, so that's why I'm a bit hesitant to just go into crawl mode and use the winch for everything. Come on, you can do it. Yeah, we're just gonna sink in. Feel like we are moving more sideways than forward. Okay, and 3rd gear doesn't really get any grip anymore. Or doesn't have the torque to even spin the wheels. I think the whole semi thing might be its own video in the end. Can try knocking out both the logs, the planks and the fuel. Just in one video. Definitely gonna be separate deliveries, not gonna go in here with a road train. But yeah, I think fuel next time and then we'll see from there. Come on, just a little bit further. We are still going. Can't really go too much further with the winch attached though. But yeah, despite being a medium duty truck, this one is a bit better for the mud and everything. If you do it correctly, you might also be able to shoot through this part without stopping. I've done it through doing the testing. I don't know if anything changed for the full release here. Although, yeah, I think they have definitely rebalanced the mud and sand finally. Had some issues with desert sand earlier, but I don't know. Don't know if it's all working as intended. They didn't give too much detail in the patch notes. But yeah, it's definitely a bit different now. So that might be why I can't make it through anymore. Might also be driver area. Driver error. The area of success with how you approach the entire thing was definitely a tight margin. But yeah, the rest should hopefully be a bit easier now. Otherwise, I might be beginning to think that maybe the CUDA is not the worst thing for here after all. Damn, this game can be pretty sometimes. Even if you're going pretty slow. But yeah, keep in mind, when you deliver something like 18 kiloliters of fuel, you would need 6 planks. So currently that's 2 of these deliveries. The Atlas tanker has 20 kiloliter capacity. The short tanker trailer has 18. So that kinda checks out. But yeah, once you go down to the smaller rigid tankers like the Brutus and Jimusi tanker, yeah, if you deliver one single Jimusi tanker, you would need 2 planks in order to go through all that fuel. Oops, slightly overheating here. And with the Brutus, you get a bit more on top of that. Also, fuel is lighter than the planks per unit. Planks are 5 ton per stack. Fuel is 800 kilograms per kiloliter or whatever they are using. So 0.8 tons if you don't speak metric. Okay, third gear can also make it through here. That's nice because that's not gonna overheat. And once again purchase on the actual ground there. Then let's go in again. Also, they recently added a supply slot to the Limousis. I think the semi-tractor already had one, but now we have a smaller fuel tank on the rigid Limousis and yeah, space for either an additional fuel tank or maybe a utility box. In my case, I should maybe pack some coolant with how much I've been overheating here. But yeah, not too much of a problem going through here. Bit of winching required, but once again, maybe it can be helped with better driving. I'm definitely not that focused on the driving now that I'm also trying to talk during the video. It's a bit different when I'm just playing. But yeah, overall, it's a somewhat capable truck. I think for the shortcut I would prefer this one over the Cuda. I don't like going over the terrain all that much. But for the regular trip, I think I would definitely use the Cuda. I'm not gonna show you guys using this one on the other route. I think you can tell how that would go. I mean, it wouldn't be awful, but yeah. I think overall the Cuda is the better choice there due to the additional power and stability. But the thing is with the Cuda, once you get stuck, you are stuck, and that's the end of it. Like if you have an obstacle that you can't overcome, that's kinda it. And with the Limousi, since it has the winch, there are so many options to get you out of a tight situation. Oh god. Oh god, it's doing it again. Okay, that counts as a jump apparently. And we now managed to go full upside down. And now let's see if they fixed this already. Oh. Well, I'm not upside down right now, so that's alright. But we are not very far away from that either. It's a really shit spot to respawn. Yeah. I could just reset myself ahead, I saw that, but I kind of want to do this thing the proper way. So there are two options now. The first one is winching, which I actually tried in the last attempt. I was just about to get out of the car and put the hook somewhere. And the whole thing started tipping over. The other option would be to turn around and go in reverse, because when right now the planes are basically, yeah, the center of mass is somewhere very far to the back, and it would be further forward if I were to actually go in reverse. But turning around on that spot is also kind of difficult, so we are doing the winch now. And hope that somehow goes well. I'm not even going to give it too much power. I'm just gonna try and winch myself up. Because adding too much power is going to have the thing try and fall over. Potentially also tipping over to the side. So yeah, I'm just going to use the power to... Frick. And now it's also dark, which is always very helpful in this game. I'm trying to turn around actually, by the way, but yeah. doesn't really work. Okay, that was a bit too far to the back. Maybe I need some rear-facing floodlights. Okay, let me see. Okay, I'm backwards now. That's progress. See? Much more stable. That's kinda tough finding a way to turn it around on that spot. Kinda glad I got to show you guys that. But then all that's left is following the path again. It feels a bit weird coming from that really rough area right to this section. I mean, it's a bit narrow, but that's about it. And yeah, I'll of course be using the shortcut again. Bit of a weird ledge there that I didn't want to go over. And here we go. Now, was that easy? I wouldn't say so. It's definitely a bit challenging. But honestly, that's part of the stuff that I like in this game. The off-road stuff might be a bit annoying here and there, but I like something that's a bit more involved than some of the on-road deliveries where you can really just let it drive itself and don't need to do much. But hey, there's also people who think it's actually the opposite, and if they enjoy the other stuff more power to them. But yeah, this is the thing that I like to do. Fight the terrain, fight the vehicle to some degree, and get it done in the end. We now got a good amount of planks here, even still got a lot of fuel left from whatever delivery I did the last time. So yeah, we are going to take a closer look at the fuel deliveries in a bit, but for today, that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.